Okay, something a bit different. But before we explore the Siberian shaman, let's have a minute with that big jolly man in the red suit you all know and love. Well, where did he come from? Many are familiar with the association between Santa Claus and Coca-Cola from the 1920s and 30s onwards, when Michigan-born illustrator Haddon Sundblom, that's a correct name in it, Haddon Sundblom, was commissioned to create advertising images depicting Santa Claus as a character himself rather than simply a person in costume. For inspiration, Sundblom referenced Clement Clarke Moore's 1822 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, which is more commonly known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Moore's portrayal of St. Nick significantly influenced the subsequent depiction and evolution of the character. Blah, blah, blah. That's not the Santa I'm interested in. The Santa I'm interested in is the Siberian Shamanic Santa. The true origins of Santa and the magic mushroom connection. In exploring the real origins of Santa Claus, an intriguing association emerges between Santa and magic mushrooms, a connection that traces back to ancient Siberian shamanic traditions. My initial intent was to craft an original piece on this fascinating topic. However, during my research, I came across a presentation by the YouTube channel After Skool that delves into the subject with remarkable insight and clarity. Their coverage thoroughly examines the relationship between Santa Claus and the practices of Siberian shamans, highlighting how these traditions intersect with the use of magic mushrooms. The presentation is both comprehensive and engaging, offering a compelling glimpse into this lesser-known aspect of Santa's history. It's a great piece for anyone interested in understanding the deeper and more mystical origins of Santa. So I'm just going to fire up their video. It's good stuff. I'll put a link to their channel below, so enjoy.
Christmas is the most iconic holiday in the world, and it's full of strange traditions. Activities like hanging stockings and singing songs about flying reindeer have become so deeply ingrained in Christmas that we don't even wonder where they came from. When we trace the origin of Christmas traditions, we find that many of them can be linked to the rituals surrounding the psychedelic mushroom Amanita muscaria. The large red-white spotted Amanita muscaria is the most recognizable mushroom on Earth. Throughout history and across many cultures, people valued this mysterious mushroom for its powerful hallucinogenic properties. For over a millennia, the indigenous people of the Arctic collected Amanita muscaria. These people were called shaman. The word shaman is derived from the Tungus-speaking people of Siberia and connotes a religious specialist. Each year, the shaman would pick the amanita, dry them, load them into a big sack, and then on December 21st, during the winter solstice, the shaman would go from house to house delivering their gifts. These shaman were older bearded men who wore the symbolic colors of red and white to honor the mushroom. During the winter solstice, the entryways to people's homes were buried under several feet of snow, so it was easier for the shaman to drop the mushrooms down the smoke hole. This is where the idea of presents down the chimney comes from. The colors of Christmas are red, white, and green. These colors symbolize the red and white Amanita muscaria under an evergreen tree. Amanita muscaria is found throughout the northern hemisphere under conifers and birch trees, just like red and white presents under the Christmas tree. Although deaths are extremely rare, Amanita muscaria is poisonous. In order to reduce the toxicity, shaman would hang the mushrooms on tree branches for them to dry, just like the colorful ornaments on a Christmas tree. Santa's flying reindeer have a similar connection to the Amanita muscaria mushrooms. Reindeer are common across Europe and Siberia, and just like the human inhabitants of these areas, they too consumed mushrooms. Siberians who ate the mushrooms may have hallucinated that the grazing reindeer were actually flying. Siberians would also drink the urine of the reindeer because the urine contained the hallucinogenic compounds without the harmful toxins. To add to things, Rudolph led the other flying reindeer with his glowing red nose, which might have been a representation of the Amanita muscaria leading the psychedelic journey. And it's possible that the idea of helper elves assisting Santa might go back to the spirits encountered by the shaman during a mushroom trip. In fact, the entire image of Santa Claus himself closely resembles that of a mushroom.
How good was that? I hope you enjoyed it. And now I'm going to talk a little about mental health in the festive period, only for a few minutes. Then I've got another more serious bit about Shamanic Santa. But first, mental health, What's it all about? Fuck-ups, darkness, struggles, addiction, homelessness, suicides, violence, depression, anxiety. I could go on and on. Who knows how many listed terms are out now for conditions. ADHD, ADD, YMC, VHS, ABC, PTSD, OCD, BBC, STV, NPD, BP, and on it goes. A society governed by psychopathic, greedy bastards, hell-bent on power and control. It makes me wonder what chance some people have from the get-go if they don't conform to the norms of these psychopathic lunatics who run the place. The lunatics have indeed taken over the asylum. What makes a person want to control others? What makes a person want that kind of power over others? What does one do when finding themselves up to their neck with mental health issues? Is it mental health issues and societal issues? Does the whole system need rebooting? Perhaps it's all chemical. What would a big-brained neuroscientist say after looking inside and discovering that your chemicals don't balance? Why don't they balance? Was it like that at birth? And if so, why? What kind of genetics run in the family? Are you from a long line of fannies? Are you from a long line of disturbed people that goes back centuries? Maybe modern society doesn't suit you or your brain structure, who knows? Perhaps I could keep listing questions till the end of time. Anyway, here we are. Mental or not, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. Are the tracks already laid and we drive our train along believing in agency and free will? Convincing ourselves there is an element of control, and if only I try harder, meditate more, blast the affirmations, attend mindfulness courses, take the medication, avoid bad company, watch those fucking guru videos on YouTube, visit the doc, everything will be fine. Is it just the cards you're dealt? Did we stand in the wrong line when the tickets for the type of life desired were issued? Who the fuck in their right mind would choose to have a mental illness? Free will? What the fuck is free will? Reflecting on primary school, the teacher asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't recall anyone raising their hand and shouting, I want to be mentally ill, or I want to be homeless at Christmas. I want to be fucked with addiction, miss. I want to beg for money and live in a tent. I'm almost certain I didn't hear any of those ambitions shared with the class. Schopenhauer says, I do not at all believe in human freedom in the philosophical sense. Everybody acts not only under external compulsion, but also in accordance with inner necessity. A man can do what he wants, but cannot will what he wants. Free will, eh? Anyways, that's my rant over. Please remember, genuine people are struggling, and a little kindness goes a long way, especially at this time of year. Also, this is a top tip. If you're going to drink piss over the festive period, make sure it's reindeer piss. Okay, back to Shamanic Santa. Once again, I'll put a link below for this next bit, and I'll see you after the New Year.
Deep in the snowy Siberian forests, shamans carefully gather Amanita muscaria mushrooms from the roots of pine and birch trees. These mushrooms, vibrant red with white spots, are believed to carry powerful spiritual energy. Once harvested, the shamans dry them by hanging them on branches or placing them in stockings over fires. Sound familiar? Yes, this is the origin of many of our holiday customs. These mushrooms weren't just collected for their beauty. When consumed, Amanita muscaria opens doorways to altered states of consciousness. Shamans used them to journey beyond the physical realm, accessing wisdom, guidance, and healing for their communities. They believed the mushroom spirit was a bridge to otherworldly dimensions, a mystical tool for transformation and enlightenment. The shamans would also prepare these mushrooms with extreme care. Drying them not only enhanced their potency, but also made them safer to consume. And when the shamans entered their trance states, they didn't just explore their own consciousness, they acted as guides for their people, bringing back messages from the spirit world. Imagine the responsibility of a shaman, chosen by their community, to venture into these altered realms and return with insights that could shape the survival and spiritual evolution of their people. It's awe-inspiring, isn't it? But the story doesn't end there. These mushrooms were so potent that their influence extended beyond the shamans. Entire communities would come together to honor the sacred fungi, participating in rituals that united them with nature and the divine. The Amanita muscaria wasn't just a tool for individual exploration, it was a symbol of collective awakening. Now let's talk about those magical flying reindeer. In Siberian shamanic tradition, reindeer weren't ordinary animals, they were spiritual allies. Here's where it gets fascinating. Reindeer are known to eat Amanita muscaria mushrooms. Observing their behavior, shamans noticed the reindeer would leap and bound, as if defying gravity, seemingly flying through the snowy landscape. This image of flying reindeer isn't just whimsical, it's deeply symbolic. The shamans, too, consumed the mushrooms during ceremonies, entering trances where they experienced visions of flight and cosmic journeys. Together, the shamans and their reindeer became carriers of divine messages, bridging the earthly and spiritual realms. Doesn't that sound a lot like Santa's sleigh soaring across the skies? Reindeer also served another purpose. Their urine was said to filter out some of the toxic compounds in the mushrooms, making it safer for humans to consume. This symbiotic relationship between shamans and their reindeer underscores how deeply these animals were woven into the fabric of spiritual life. And think about the setting. Vast snowy landscapes under a star-filled sky. Imagine the shaman, draped in ceremonial robes, surrounded by reindeer whose bounding leaps seem to defy gravity. It's as if nature itself collaborated with the shamans to create this mystical tableau. The reindeer's role wasn't just practical or ceremonial, it was symbolic. They represented the ability to transcend earthly limitations, to soar beyond what is known. For mystics like you, the reindeer is a reminder that the journey to higher realms is not only possible, but essential. And what about Santa Claus himself? His red and white suit, his mysterious ability to descend through chimneys, and his sack of gifts all point to shamanic origins. Imagine a Siberian shaman, dressed in ceremonial robes, trimmed with fur to shield against the icy cold. They would visit homes during the solstice, carrying sacred Amanita muscaria mushrooms to share with their community. Some say Santa's journey down the chimney mirrors the shaman's practice of entering yurts through the smoke hole when snow blocked the doors, and his iconic red and white suit. It's the living embodiment of the Amanita muscaria mushroom's vibrant colors. Even the concept of leaving gifts under the tree connects back to shamans, offering these sacred fungi beneath the sacred pines. Santa's jolly demeanor and gift-giving also reflect the role of the shaman as a bringer of blessings. Just as the shaman would bring spiritual insight and healing to their people, Santa brings joy and abundance to households around the world. Think of how Santa's character has evolved, from a mystical figure rooted in nature and spiritual connection to a universal symbol of generosity and cheer. But what if Santa is more than a cheerful myth? What if his origins as a shamanic figure remind us that the season is about more than gifts and decorations? It's about connection, awakening, and sharing the light within us all. Chosen ones, look at your Christmas tree. It's not just a decoration, it's a cosmic symbol. For Siberian shamans, evergreen trees were sacred. Their towering heights and eternal green represented a connection between earth and the heavens. By decorating these trees with symbols of light, people honored their bond with the divine and celebrated the promise of life's continuity. The star atop your tree, that's the ultimate symbol of spiritual ascent, a guiding light, just like the North Star or the Star of Bethlehem. And those ornaments, they echo the Amanita muscaria mushrooms hung on branches to dry, symbolizing divine gifts and spiritual abundance. Trees were also seen as bridges between worlds. Their roots reached deep into the earth, while their branches stretched toward the sky. To decorate a tree was to honor this sacred connection, and to invite blessings from both the physical and spiritual realms. Now imagine the communal act of gathering around the tree. Each ornament, each light, represents a story, a memory, or a wish. In those moments, we're not just celebrating the season, we're participating in a ritual that connects us to something timeless and universal. But how did these shamanic and pagan symbols find their way into Christmas? Early Christians, seeking to spread their faith, often adopted local customs to ease the transition. The timing of Christmas, December 25th, was likely chosen to align with Roman Saturnalia and other solstice celebrations. Over time, these ancient practices were reinterpreted through a Christian lens. Take the evergreen tree, once a pagan emblem of eternal life, now a Christian symbol of Christ's promise of salvation. Or the practice of gift-giving, which evolved from offerings made to Yule spirits and Roman deities to the story of the Magi, bringing gifts to the Christ child. The result is a rich tapestry of traditions that blend the mystical and the spiritual. For you mystics, this is an invitation to look deeper. What other traditions in your life carry hidden layers of meaning? How can you honor the wisdom of the past while walking your unique spiritual path today? You mystics carry within you the ability to see beyond the surface. When you celebrate Christmas, know that you're participating in a story much larger than any single tradition. You're honoring the cycles of light and dark, the wisdom of the ancients, and the enduring power of connection. So the next time you gather around your tree, think of the shamans who hung Amanita muscaria mushrooms on branches, believing in their power to bridge worlds. When you see Santa's red and white suit, remember the sacred colors of the holy Amanita muscaria. Let us all, dear mystics, remember that this time is originally also about transformation and spiritual awakening. And as you exchange gifts, feel the echoes of offerings made to honor life's abundance and the interconnectedness of all things. Let's explore how these traditions have evolved into the modern-day celebrations we know and love. The threads of connection are everywhere, if you know where to look. Today's Christmas markets, festive gatherings, and decorative lights are modern echoes of ancient feasts, communal fires, and symbols of hope. Think about how the tradition of gift-giving has become a central part of Christmas. It's not just about material exchanges, it's a reflection of the ancient practice of sharing blessings with others. Whether it's the shaman offering sacred mushrooms to their community, or the Magi presenting gifts to the Christ child, the act of giving has always been a way to connect, to express gratitude, and to bring joy. Even the iconic imagery of Santa Claus, now a symbol of commercial holiday cheer, retains its roots in the mystical. Santa's sleigh, pulled by reindeer, mirrors the shamanic journeys of old, while his red and white suit continues to carry the colors of the Amanita muscaria. The holiday season may have changed over centuries, But its heart, the themes of light, renewal, and connection, remains constant. Chosen ones and mystics, the time has come for you to step into your role as keepers of the ancient wisdom. This holiday season, let's go beyond surface-level celebrations. Take time to honor the deeper meanings behind the traditions. Reflect on the cycles of light and darkness in your life, just as our ancestors did. Share the stories of old with those around you, reconnecting them to the roots of the season. Gather your loved ones around the tree, and let its light be a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. When you place a star on top, think of the guiding lights that have inspired humanity for millennia. Whether it's the Star of Bethlehem or the North Star, leading explorers to new horizons. And as you exchange gifts, see them as symbols of the blessings we share with one another. This season is your opportunity to bridge the past and the present, to infuse the modern with the mystical, and to create new traditions that honor the wisdom of the old, while embracing the possibilities of the future. May your celebrations be filled with meaning, your gatherings with warmth, and your heart with the light of renewal. As we close this journey into the origins of Christmas Yule and the mystical connections they hold, I leave you with this. You are the torchbearers of ancient truths, the mystics and chosen ones who carry the light forward. Whether through reflection, storytelling, or simply embodying the spirit of generosity and connection, you have the power to transform the season into something truly magical. Happy holidays, dear friends. May this season bring you joy, wisdom, and a renewed sense of wonder. Together, let's honor the past, celebrate the present, and step boldly into the light of what's to come. Stay lit